Hey, y'all look. Get with me. Get with me. 100% my sister was a victim. 100% victim. I'm holding victim paperwork. Victim. My little sister would have called her brother.
Here's what they want you to believe. D'Wanda Dagen woke up at 2 a.m., went through her man's phone, found out he was cheating, and gave her HIV, so she shot him dead and then herself. Clean narrative, right? Woman scorned. Case closed, except her brother walked out with official paperwork that says she was a victim of homicide, not a murderer, a victim. So now we have to ask, if she didn't kill herself, who did? And why does everyone want us to believe she did? Welcome to Grave Kisses, where love rots, secrets scream, and the dead don't stay buried. Hit subscribe, like and share, if you're not afraid to dig a little deeper. Let me tell you something about D'Wanda Dagen. This wasn't some woman struggling to get by, desperate and broken. You hear me? 47 an hour. She owned multiple properties, not renting, owning, and she'd just become a grandmother. A whole new chapter of her life was starting. The photos show a beautiful woman, confident, the kind of woman who knew her worth. People on the internet kept talking about how she looked, but they weren't seeing the full picture. This was a woman who had her life together, a woman who, according to everyone who knew her, was close to her family, real close, her brother, and we're gonna talk a lot about him, because he's the one fighting for truth right now. He made it clear, D'Wanda didn't make moves without calling him first. That was their relationship. She needed to handle something serious. She called her brother. She was going through something. She called her brother. So when people started saying she snapped at 2 in the morning and did the unthinkable, he knew something wasn't right. Now Thurman, 44 years old. That's the man they found next to D'Wanda that night. The man the internet decided was a cheater, a liar, someone who'd given his girlfriend a death sentence with a disease. But here's the thing, we don't actually know what Noon was about. We know what social media said, we know what the rumors claimed, but facts, those are still coming. What we do know is that on October 3rd, their story ended in blood. It's just after 2:30 in the morning when Chicago police get the call, 6600 block of South Normal Avenue, Englewood. When officers arrive at the residence, they're walking into what looks like a nightmare inside the home. They find two bodies, a 38-year-old woman, a 44-year-old man, both shot in the head, both pronounced dead at the scene. A weapon is recovered right there in the house. The police start piecing together a timeline. They comb through the residence, looking for evidence, trying to figure out what happened in those final hours. And pretty quickly the initial assessment comes down: murder, suicide. That's when the internet does what the internet does best. It starts filling in the blanks. Stories spread fast. Someone posts on Facebook, imagine being in a relationship for 5 years, giving this man everything, then going through his phone and finding out he's got a whole other life you didn't know about. And then here's the part that really got people talking. You find out he's got full-blown AIDS, and now you've got it too. The comment sections went crazy. People were saying D'Wanda woke up at 2 a.m., grabbed his phone while he was sleeping, saw messages from other women, and just lost it. They said she found out about the HIV, realized her life was over, and decided if she was going down, he was going down first. The narrative painted her as a woman in a jealous rage, betrayed, sick, hopeless, someone who saw no way out except violence. But anyways, let's pause right here because this is where things get complicated. The scene told one story. 2 people, 2 bullets to the head, 1 gun. In cases like this, investigators look at the evidence. Who fired the weapon? What's the trajectory of the bullets? Are there signs of a struggle, defensive wounds, anything that doesn't fit the murder-suicide theory? And here's what made people believe the social media version so quickly. It seemed to make sense. Right, Woman finds out devastating news in the middle of the night. Emotions running high. Access to a weapon. Tragedy unfolds before the sun comes up. But let me tell you something. D'Wanda's family wasn't buying it. Not for 1 second. While the internet was busy convicting her, calling her crazy, saying she couldn't handle the truth about her man, her brother was preparing to fight back because he knew his sister, and the woman being described in those viral posts, that wasn't her. See, this is where we've got to be careful. The story that went viral, the phone, the cheating, the HIV diagnosis, none of that has been confirmed by police. Let me say that again. None of that is official. It's speculation. Internet detectives doing what they do. And yeah, sometimes they're right, but sometimes they're dead wrong. The Chicago Police Department labels the deaths as a murder-suicide under investigation. They're working the case, running forensics, looking at phone records, talking to anyone who might know what happened that night. But here's what we know they found. A weapon at the scene, 2 victims with fatal gunshot wounds to the head, and a whole lot of questions. What we don't know, and this is critical, is whether there's any actual evidence of the HIV story. We don't know if police recovered Noon's phone showing other women. We don't know if there are medical records confirming either of them had the virus. The internet ran with that narrative, but the police, they haven't confirmed any of it. And this is where D'Wanda's brother steps into the picture in a major way. Days after his sister's death, he goes live on Facebook. And let me tell you, this man is hurting. You can see it. You can hear it in his voice. He's just had to do one of the hardest things anyone can do, identify his baby sister's body. He's holding papers in his hand, and he's telling anyone who will listen, now make it make sense. If this was a murder-suicide where D'Wanda killed Noon and then herself, why does her brother have paperwork listing her as a victim of homicide? He keeps repeating it.
100% my sister was a victim. 100% victim. I'm holding victim paperwork. Victim. My little sister would have called her brother.
People have already made up their minds about what his sister did, but he's saying,
I ain't say nothing. I let them post, make videos, and right now today, guess what I get? To both families, we took an L. But that shit y'all put out there, oh, she looked in his phone and she snapped and he went out the coward way. My sister was too raw. Why would she kill herself to make the envious people of her happy? She too raw for that. I can only be strong. Because I had to shake my head and nod my head and say, that's my sister. That's her. Everybody that know me personally know the only reason I'm mad. But I can't, it is what it is.
And then he drops something that makes you really think that they were saying,
I hear crickets. I'm gonna miss my baby so much. But so much weight lifted off me right now. I'm still numb, I'm still in. But that right there just made me feel better. I can go hug my mama. She sent me. She said, I can't do it, son. I can't do it. They forced me to do the craziest, hardest shit of my life. I lost a homie in front of me. His brother became her best friend. That boy broke me down. I ain't mad no more.
The brother's live video hits different when you really listen. This isn't some rehearsed statement. This is a man who just came from identifying his sister's body, holding official documents, and trying to process the fact that while he's drowning in grief, the whole internet has already decided his sister was a killer. Both of them were victims, he says.
But that shit y'all put out there, oh, she looked in his phone and she snapped and he went out the coward way. My sister was too raw. Why would she kill herself to make the envious people of her happy. She too raw for that. I can only be strong. Because I had to shake my head and nod my head and say, that's my sister. That's her.
She's too strong for that. Let's break down what he's saying here. He's not just defending his sister's character, he's pointing out something deeper. D'Wanda had haters, people who were jealous of what she had built, the homes, the job, the lifestyle, and in his mind, taking her own life would be giving those people exactly what they wanted. And his sister, she wasn't about to do that. He mentions that she just became a grandmother, a brand new chapter. Why would someone on the verge of that kind of joy throw it all away, over a cheating man, over a phone full of messages? It doesn't track. But here's where it gets real murky, and this is what makes this case so hard to pin down. The brother believes his sister was murdered. The paperwork he's holding apparently lists her as a victim, but the initial police reports and the evidence at the scene pointed to murder-suicide. So what's the truth? Look, in cases like this, the details matter, the forensics matter. Where was the gun found? What's the gunshot residue analysis? What angle were the shots fired from? These are questions investigators have to answer before we know what really happened. The brother keeps hammering one point. She would have called me first. No matter what, she was going to call her brother, and he's right to bring that up. When someone is at their breaking point, when they're about to do something irreversible, there are usually signs, calls, messages, goodbyes. Did D'Wanda reach out to anyone that night? Did she send any texts, leave any notes, or was she asleep when it happened? That's the question nobody's asking, but everybody should be thinking about. The social media story says she woke up at 2 a.m. and went through Noon's phone. But what if that's not what happened at all? What if someone else was awake at 2 a.m.? Here's the thing. There haven't been any arrests in this case, because according to the initial investigation, there's nobody to arrest. Both people involved are dead. But the brother's claims raise serious questions. If D'Wanda truly was a victim of homicide, then who killed her? And who killed Noon? The most obvious answer, if we follow the brother's theory, is that Noon killed D'Wanda and then himself. That flips the whole script. Instead of a jealous woman taking revenge, it becomes a man silencing his girlfriend. Maybe because she found out something she wasn't supposed to know. Maybe an argument escalated. Maybe for reasons we'll never fully understand. But there's another possibility that's even darker. What if neither of them pulled the trigger? What if someone else was in that house? Now, I'm not saying that's what happened. The police recovered one weapon at the scene, and there's been no indication of a third party. But in the interest of truth, we have to look at all angles. The brother said something in his video that stuck with me.
They forced me to do the craziest, hardest shit of my life.
He's talking about identifying D'Wanda's body, and then he says,
and she still looked good. Still killing motherfuckers. He didn't hurt that pretty face. See what I'm saying?
He's saying he, meaning Noon. Is that just a figure of speech, or is the brother telling us something? Is he saying Noon is responsible for his sister's death? As of right now, there's been no trial, no courtroom drama, no lawyers arguing evidence. This case sits in that difficult space where the official record says one thing, but the family is fighting for a different narrative. And here's what makes it even messier. The HIV story. Girl, let me tell you, that rumor spread faster than anything else. People on social media claimed Noon had full-blown AIDS, that he'd passed it to D'Wanda, and that's what pushed her over the edge. But where's the proof? Where are the medical records? Where's confirmation from anyone official? Right now, that's just internet talk. And internet talk can destroy reputations, ruin legacies, and paint completely false pictures of what actually happened. The brother addressed this too. He's frustrated because people are running with stories that have no basis in fact. They're making his sister out to be reckless, emotional, unstable, and he's saying, no, you didn't know her. You don't get to write her story. Let's lay out the facts we can confirm. October 3rd, around 2:30 a.m., police respond to a residence in Englewood. D'Wanda Dagen, 38, and Noon Thurman, 44, are found dead from gunshot wounds to the head. A weapon is recovered at the scene. Initial police assessment: murder-suicide. D'Wanda's brother has paperwork listing her as a victim. No arrests have been made. The case remains under investigation. Now here's what we don't know: whether the HIV story is true or just internet speculation, whether D'Wanda actually went through Noon's phone that night, whether there's evidence of infidelity, the exact timeline inside that house, who fired the fatal shots, whether there was a struggle, if Wanda left any note or message. See, that's a lot of unknowns, and when you've got that many gaps, people fill them in with whatever narrative makes sense to them. Some people see a woman scorned, some see a controlling, dangerous man, some see a tragedy that could have been prevented. But what does the evidence actually show? That's what investigators are working to determine, and until they release more information, we're all just guessing. The brother mentioned that people who were quick to post about D'Wanda have gone quiet now that he's spoken up. "I hear crickets," he said, "and that's real, because it's easy to share a story when it's scandalous and messy. It's harder to admit you might have gotten it wrong." Moving on to something the brother said that really captures the pain of this whole situation: "I lost a homie, an animal." He's talking about Noon, because apparently Noon's brother and D'Wanda were close. They were friends. This wasn't just a couple, this was families intertwined, and now both families are grieving. Both families are trying to make sense of what happened. His brother became her best friend, he says. Think about that loss. You lose your sister, and you lose someone you considered family, all in one night, and then you watch the world tear her apart online while you're trying to bury her with dignity. The response to this case shows exactly how we process tragedy in the age of social media. Hours after the news breaks, people have made up their minds. They've got the motive, the method, the whole story. Cheating man gives his woman HIV. She finds out. She kills him, then herself. Case closed. Share, like, comment. But hey, what if that's not what happened? What if we all just joined in destroying a dead woman's reputation based on rumors? The brother is out here fighting for his sister's name. He's saying she was a victim. He's saying the narrative is false, and he's got paperwork to back it up. At the very least, we owe it to D'Wanda to wait for the facts. There are so many pieces of this puzzle that don't fit together yet. Until the Chicago Police Department releases more details, we're stuck between two completely different versions of the same night. Version 1, D'Wanda discovers betrayal and disease, snaps in the early morning hours, and commits an act of violence before taking her own life. A crime of passion. A woman pushed past her breaking point. Version 2, D'Wanda is the victim of a homicide. Someone took her life, whether it was Noon in a murder-suicide where he was the aggressor, or whether something else entirely happened that night. She didn't kill herself. She was killed. The brother keeps emphasizing her success, her stability, her future. Those details matter. This wasn't a woman with nothing to lose. She had property. She had income. She had a grandchild she was excited about. People say, well, finding out about HIV would make anyone lose it. Okay, maybe, but we don't even know if that part is true. Let me tell you something. Diseases like HIV aren't the automatic death sentence they used to be. Magic Johnson has been living with it since 19. He's thriving. Medical advances mean people with HIV can live long, full lives. Even if D'Wanda had found out she was positive, would that really make her throw away everything she'd built? Her brother doesn't think so. And here's another thing that doesn't sit right. The timing. 2:30 a.m. Police get called to the scene. By the time they arrive, both people are already gone. So what happened in those hours before? Was there an argument, a confrontation, or were they both asleep when it went down? The gun. Where exactly was it found? In D'Wanda's hand, near her body, across the room. These details matter. They tell investigators whether the scene was staged or authentic. Gunshot residue. Was it on D'Wanda's hands? On Noon's? Both? Neither? That's science. That's evidence that doesn't lie. Forensics can show the distance a gun was fired from, the angle of entry. whether someone was standing, sitting, or lying down when they were shot. All of that builds a picture of what really happened, and we're waiting on that picture. Right now, all we've got is a brother holding victim paperwork and a whole internet full of theories, families fighting. What struck me most about the brother's video wasn't just the grief, it was the urgency. He needed people to know right then, right there, that his sister wasn't what they were saying. Make sure they post this, he kept saying, because when it was the other narrative, when people were calling his sister a killer, it spread everywhere. But now that he's got evidence showing she was a victim, crickets. He talked about having to be strong for his mama, for his nephews, for the rest of the family. While he's out here defending D'Wanda's name, his mother is at home trying to process that her daughter is gone. His nephews are trying to understand why their aunt isn't coming back. I just had to do one of the hardest things in my life, he said. You can hear it. You can feel it. Identifying your sister's body isn't something you ever prepare for, and then having to fight a false narrative on top of that grief, that's a different kind of pain. He mentioned D'Wanda's house, her property, everything she worked for. It all had her name on it. She built that. And now people want to remember her as someone who destroyed it all in a moment of rage. He's not having it. Y'all ain't ready to deal with a boss woman, or you gonna be insecure in all kind of nonsense, he said. That's directed at the people who want to paint successful black women as unstable, as emotional, as unable to handle adversity. D'Wanda was a boss. She handled her business. Her brother wants that to be her legacy, not the twisted story social media created. D'Wanda Dagen was 38 years old. She worked hard. She owned property. She had just stepped into a new role as a grandmother. That's who she was on October 2nd. By the early morning hours of October 3rd, she was gone. Her legacy shouldn't be defined by rumors and speculation. It should be defined by the life she built, the people who loved her, and the truth of what happened that night, whatever that truth turns out to be. Her brother is making sure of that. He's out here with victim paperwork, with memories of who his sister really was, and with a determination to clear her name. That's love. This case reminds us that in the rush to make sense of tragedy, we often create narratives that comfort us more than they honor the dead. We want clear villains and victims. We want simple explanations for complicated situations. But real life is messier than that. As the investigation continues, as more details emerge, we'll be here to share them. Every victim deserves their story told. The real story, not the one that trends on social media. This is Grave Kisses TV. The D'Wanda Dagen case is still developing, and as detectives uncover more evidence, we'll be right here bringing updates. For now, I leave you with the full clip of the live video from D'Wanda's brother.
Man, y'all know goddamn well I was coming. I was coming. Hey, y'all look. Get with me. Get with me. 100% my sister was a victim. 100% victim. I'm holding victim paperwork. Victim. My little sister would have called her brother. No matter what. If she chose to do whatever, she'd have called me first. I'm here right now. I just had to do one of the hardest things in my motherfucking life.
Roll right here.
I ain't respond to no false narratives. I ain't say nothing. I let them post, make videos, and right now today, guess what I get? To both families, we took an L. But that shit y'all put out there, oh, she looked in his phone and she snapped and he went out the coward way. My sister was too raw. Why would she kill herself to make the envious people of her happy? She too raw for that. I can only be strong. Because I had to shake my head and nod my head and say, that's my sister. That's her.
Just
Everybody that know me personally know the only reason I'm mad. But I can't, it is what it is.
We good though.
But
So, clear that up.
can
Clear all
y'all
that up.
please
She ain't
keep my
did none of
family in
that.
y'all prayer, but more so my mama, my sisters, my nephew.
We here right now. We got all
I'm
paperwork,
straight.
everything.
I did what
She ain't did shot or did nothing.
victim.
She
Look at
was
this
the
shit,
victim.
bro. Look at this shit, bro. This shit say
Survivors.
Look at
Victim.
this.
Victim.
This shit
She was
say
the victim.
victim. Where my damn thing is so I can flip the bitch.
Flip it.
Come on, come on. Victim. 100% victim.
Victim.
Not suicide, murder,
Just had to
suicide, all that.
identify my baby.
I had to identify my baby. She can't call her brother. They took that shit. Make sure they post this. Post this. Cause when it was on y'all to say it was us, it was cool. It was cool. And I'm still not mad. I'm mad because I can't do shit. And she still look good. Still focus. He didn't hurt that pretty face. See what I'm saying? I can't even cry no more. I'm happy. I'm fucking happy. Y'all know where I'm gonna be at. Pull up. We at Abby. You know what? Matter of fact, you know what? We gonna cook. We gonna be at my sister's house. See what I'm saying? Like
Her house.
her house.
Her house.
With her name on it and everything she on, all that shit that they was saying. I hear crickets. I'm gonna miss my baby so much. But so much weight lifted off me right now. I'm still numb, I'm still in. But that right there just made me feel better. I can go hug my mama. She sent me. She said, I can't do it, son. I can't do it. They forced me to do the craziest, hardest shit of my life. I lost a homie in front of me. His brother became her best friend. That boy broke me down. I ain't mad no more. This is why I ain't respond. I couldn't. So make sure everybody post. Look, why they can't post? Tell them to post this. Tell them what's going on. Post it. I got victim, 100% victim. Fellas, y'all ain't ready to deal with no boss bitch and you gonna be insecure and all kind of shit. Let that lady be. Don't be no tender dick. And I know we all did tender dick shit. I did some. But not this. I love every motherfucker that put all 5,000 of y'all that pulled up on me. Just for me. Love y'all. Don't stop pulling up. I need it. But this is different. It's different. They say she found out she had AIDS and SNAP.
2 lives gone, 1 family demanding answers, and a story the internet thinks it already knows, but the truth, it's still buried. When it comes out, we'll be right here to uncover it. This is Grave Kisses TV, where every silence gets heard. Subscribe and stay locked in. The next update might change everything.